Hey YouTube, MANIÈRE. I am Sha.
And I'm Ju. Together we are
Sha and Ju. Welcome back to our channel. So today we are going to make carrot cake. But I will not be doing any of the cooking. I will be behind the camera today. Today will be another episode of Cooking with Ju.
I am excited. I've been waiting for this. Carrot cake is my favorite cake. My aunt, actually, shout out, was in Canada in the 80s and she brought this recipe back home to Germany, and she's always been making this recipe for me for my birthday, and I still do it every year. I bake my own birthday cake. Not that Sha wouldn't normally bake it too, but I just love making this carrot cake. The icing is not too sweet. You have actual pieces of carrot in it, so this would be a perfect cake for you to make now that we're also approaching fall season. There will be lots of fresh produce, lots of fresh carrots to use, and it's so delicious.
So before we get into cooking, for those of you who are new here, the recipe will be in the description box below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave your notification bell on at all times so you could get more fun recipes like this. So let's get into it.
Lunes, yo me llamo Tarzán y la gente me dice ¿cómo es? El rey de la cena. Jane es perfecta gracias a sus raíces. ¿Sabes cómo es? El rey de la cena. Ando con mis leones cazando los ciervos. ¿Cómo es? El rey de la cena. Yo soy jefe de leones a cerdo. ¿Cómo es? El rey de la cena.
So for the carrot cake recipe, we're going to be needing 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of sugar. I've already mixed brown and white sugar here. 1.5 cups of canola oil. We have 5 eggs. We have 3 cups of already washed, peeled, and shredded carrots. We have 3 cups of chocolate chips / chocolate chunks. We have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, just a pinch of salt. We have 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a cup of shredded hazelnuts. So for the mixing process, we're going to be using our favorite Cuisinart mixer. This is the 5.2 liter version with a paddle attachment, just to make our life a little bit more easy. To start, we are going to combine what we call the wet ingredients. So the 5 eggs, the canola oil, and then finally the mix of sugar. And then we are going to start our mixer on the lowest setting until everything has mixed together. This will take some time. Just make sure that the sugar properly dissolves in the mixture. And now it's time to add in the dry ingredients. When I'm talking about dry ingredients, that's of course our flour here, and we're just going to be adding in all the other 4 ingredients. So the cinnamon, the baking soda, the baking powder, and then finally the pinch of salt. And we are going to add that mixture into the wet ingredients in our stand-up mixer. I always really love the color of the cinnamon and the smell, of course.
Yeah, not me too much.
You're not so much of a cinnamon fan.
No, not really. Sometimes it's too overpowering.
True. Not in this recipe. Alright, and we're just going to let this mix again, starting with the lowest setting. It looks really beautiful. So everything is starting to look like a smooth dough now. We are now going to add in the shredded hazelnut. Now, what would a carrot cake be without carrots? Those are up next. So what I like about this recipe, it's easy to make. It's just the preparation that takes a little longer. So I have already washed, peeled, and shredded those carrots ahead of time, and we are now going to add them into the bowl as well. And once more, let everything mix. Wow, it starts looking like a carrot cake now, Sha. What do you think? How does it look?
Yeah, it looks pretty gooey. Smelling good actually.
I'm really excited. So now we are, as our last step, going to add in the chocolate chunks. And as mentioned, this is the last step. So now you would want to also preheat your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'll get that going.
And we have a nice mix of chocolate chips and chocolate chunks here, just to keep it interesting. We'll let that mix in, and then it's baking time. Looking good. The chocolate chips have also mixed in now. The dough is ready, and while the oven is heating up, I will show you how to prepare the cake pan. So just before filling the dough into the cake pan, I wanted to give you an idea of the consistency of the dough. It is quite runny, yet of course you have quite a bit of texture from the carrot pieces as well as the chocolate chunks. So let's fill it in and get baking. For the carrot cake, we are going to be using a 26 centimeter cake pan, and I already lined the bottom with some parchment paper. And then we will just grease the sides with some cooking spray, just as I find that kind of the easiest option. Just to make sure, of course, that the cake will be crispy on the outside as well as not stick to the cake pan. I always use a spatula, just like Sha, as this is the easiest way to make sure you're not missing out on any of this lovely dough. I'm really excited. It really looks so yummy and it smells really nice. Of course, my favorite part comes into play of licking the bowl later, so I'm always keeping some.
When was the last time you had that carrot cake?
It was for my birthday, I think. I used to make it all the time because my aunt used to always make it for me for my birthday, so it's kind of my tradition. So yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think I made you a cake last year for your birthday though, and I don't think it was a carrot cake.
I don't think so, no. But it was really good anyways. We are going to transfer the carrot cake onto a baking sheet just so that it evenly bakes. And now that the oven is ready to go, we'll put it into the oven. So it will normally take around 50 to 60 minutes, so we will check on it then.
Bye.
While the cake is in the oven, we can already work on the icing. This is the really nice complementing part of this carrot cake. For that, you will be needing 100 grams of unsalted butter, 200 grams of cream cheese. We're using the full fat version, but if you're health conscious, you can use some that has less fat. And then we are going to be using 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 3 tablespoons of icing sugar. Start with melting the butter, as we will be using it once it's actually cooled down. As you can see, just by heating up the pot, it of course already liquefies. Once it's liquid, set it aside to cool. Now that the butter is cooled down, let's start with combining the butter and our cream cheese in our Cuisinart mixer once more. We're using the paddle attachment as well, just because the cream cheese has quite of a thicker consistency and the whisk would be a little too weak for it. And we'll start combining that on the low setting for now. Once everything becomes a smooth paste, it's time to add in the other 2 ingredients, the vanilla extract.
Yay.
Gives it a nice touch of color, and then the icing sugar for a little bit of sweetness. Yeah, give it a taste, Sha.
I like it like that with the butter and the cream cheese. That
It's
would be not
nice and creamy, right?
so nice on a toasty sandwich.
But it's not too sweet. This is what I like about this icing, actually. So let's give it a final round of mixing, and then our icing is already ready to go. Once detached from the mixer, I like to just kind of check with a spatula and make sure that there's no lumps, that it's really nice and creamy. It looks pretty good. So I'm gonna transfer it over into a bowl now. And we just want to make sure that we wait for this to be applied, of course, once the cake is cooled down.
So you want the cake to cool down completely? I would assume, what, 2-3 hours?
Yes, normally around that time. Of course, it depends how hot or cold it is in your apartment. But definitely make sure it is fully cooled down. I've made the mistake before to apply it too early and then it just kind of runs away and doesn't stick like a nice icing. It's been an hour and 10 minutes officially. It looks beautifully browned and I'm going to use Sha's favorite knife now just to do the poke test. So poke it in the middle, and if it comes out clean like that, it's ready. Now you'll see there's a little bit of pieces still on the knife. Keep in mind that this cake is supposed to be moist, so it is ready. We're going to take it out of the oven and just give it a few moments to cool down before taking it out of the mold. So it's been some time that the cake had time to cool down. I'm going to now remove the pan around it. This one's really handy because you can just kind of take the top part off.
Looks pretty good, Ju.
Yeah, like I love it because it's really soft and really juicy still inside. You'll see once we taste it. And I'm just going to transfer it over onto a plate so it can fully cool down until we then can ice it.
Because you put the piece of parchment paper, it's not going to stick, right, to the bottom?
Yes, that's the idea. So I'm just still going to kind of loosen it up before transferring it over. Don't want to take the risk, right? Now that our beautiful looking carrot cake is cooled down all the way, we will evenly spread out the icing that we've already prepared in the meantime, all over the top and on the sides as well. So let's do that with a spatula. I usually start on the top and then work my way to the sides. Not too sweet, right?
Yeah.
Nice and vanilla-y.
Yeah, it's really nice, like salty and sweet, vanilla-y.
Et voila, our carrot cake is now finally ready. It's best eaten if you leave it overnight in the fridge, just so that the icing can set a little and harden a little. So Sha and I will be tasting it tomorrow. You can of course now decorate it if you want, but I have always eaten it like that, the traditional way. I think it's pretty, right?
Yeah, it looks pretty delicious, very rustic kind of look.
Yes, that's what I'm aiming for. It's a Canadian classic, right?
Yeah, so what are we gonna do? Wrap it and put it in the fridge, or just put it like this in the fridge?
It can just go like this in the fridge, as right now the icing is still a little moist. We don't want to ruin it, and it'll harden really nicely. So you don't need to cover it, so just in the fridge, and we'll taste it tomorrow. Et voila! Our carrot cake is finally ready to be tasted. It's been in the fridge overnight, and now here we are. Are you excited, Sha?
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I haven't had carrot cake for a long time, actually. She was saying last time it was for her birthday. I think it was before. No, actually,
2 years ago, maybe.
You made it when your hotel opened.
Maybe.
Right? Yeah, this is when you actually made the carrot cake. So it was a year almost soon.
True.
Yeah, I kind of like this carrot cake because it's so moist and has chocolate and then the frosting on top.
Yeah, so I like that it has that little bit of a spice from the cinnamon and the hazelnut in the dough, and like Sha said, it's really nice and moist. You can definitely still sense the pieces of carrots in it, which makes it really fresh and somewhat healthy, if you know what I mean. And then the icing is really fluffy and not too sweet, so it really well balances it out.
Yeah, if it was only up to me, I'd cut the cinnamon out, but other than that, it's really good.
Yeah, so it's an all-time favorite. I'm really glad my aunt shared this recipe with me.
Thank you.
And we are now happy to spread it with the world. So definitely give it a try. It's an amazing birthday cake. For kids, you can make it as well. Or if you have friends or family over, you should definitely give it a try.
So if you enjoyed this video today, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and leave your notification bell on at all times so you could get more fun recipes like this.
And more cooking / baking with Ju. Thank you so much for watching today. Tschüss. And until next time.
Gotta work on myself, 'cause I'm